She had traveled alone for years and never felt afraid. Nature had always been her safe place. Long drives through rough forest roads finally led her to a perfect camp. Wide open land, mountain views, and complete silence.
My immediate answer has always been no. Of course, I miss my friends and family while we're on the road full time, but being immersed in the natural world with only my own energy and the company of my very best friend offers a sense of peace and clarity that would otherwise be unreachable. And as far as being scared, I truly never was, but little did I know what was coming. And it would change how I felt about everything.
For several days, everything stayed calm and peaceful. Only the sound of wind and distant logging trucks passed by.
This is the third logging truck I've seen this morning. They're cutting down our forests left and right. And I'm on BLM land for the first time, which is rather beautiful. The roads are fairly well maintained, but they're doing lots of logging. And there's lots of areas blocked off that say private property. So they're selling off a lot of the land and views from the van were had to climb down. Just wanted to fix my cameras.
As the weekend arrived, more people began entering the area. That was when things slowly started to change.
So in that way, I'm grateful for it. This is what I do every time Jem wastes water, which is often. I put it under her muzzle, never on top, under here. It's always the places that are not.
Earlier that day, 3 blacked-out trucks drove past her campsite. She waved politely, thinking nothing of it. That night, after locking the van and settling in, the forest went quiet. No animals, no wind, just silence.
And obnoxious, yes, but harmless, at least at first. Jem and I ate dinner, locked up the van, and started settling in for the night. Around midnight, just as I started to drift off, 3 loud knocks.
Then, just after midnight, it happened. 3 loud knocks hit the glass of her van door. She froze in place, heart racing. Her cameras weren't plugged in and her lights weren't installed. Looking outside, she noticed a fire burning uphill. The same trucks were parked there, breaking a fire ban. Someone just came knocking on my door in the middle of the national forest, so...
So not cool.
She stayed awake for hours, listening to every sound. Nothing else happened, but the fear never faded. By morning, she packed up and left immediately. The knock didn't return, but it changed how she camps forever.
No cover, I couldn't see a thing. And those motion sensor lights I still hadn't installed, well, they're sitting right there on my dash. Regret hit hard in that moment. Then I noticed a faint glow up the hill and realized it was a fire, where the trucks from earlier had parked, during an active level 1 fire ban, mind you. And that's when it clicked. These weren't the kind of people you want to cross paths with in the middle of nowhere. So I just sat there, listening. Every sound outside felt amplified. For the next couple of hours, I barely moved. I watched, waited, and checked the cameras over and over.
Sometimes the scariest part of camping isn't being alone. It's realizing someone else knows exactly where you are. I could never, ever go camping alone. Too scared. Riley, from Riley Does Life, a solo camper, arrived alone near caves and ruins hoping to explore peacefully. The place immediately felt uneasy. Deep holes and steep drops surrounded the area. Being alone with her small dog made it feel dangerous. More people suddenly showed up nearby. That made her rethink going deeper into the caves.
Even if they weren't here, I don't know that I'd go down there anyway. Big scary hole by myself and a tiny 6-pound chihuahua. I saw some people go down that already, but I don't know that I want to make that climb down.
The ruins were covered in graffiti. What should have been historic felt unsettling instead.
All tagged with a bunch of graffiti and stuff. It's kind of sad to see like a historical landmark be tagged with some slightly inappropriate things. I mean, it's still really cool to check the area though. Okay, there's another canyon on the other side of this structure. This way. That seems to be a less scary way.
She found another path down through a canyon. It was easier, but still risky. Other visitors warned her about something inside the cave. They mentioned a creepy doll hidden below.
Apparently there's like under the cave like a really cool little extra room, but there's a really scary doll there and I'm not willing to invite those kind of voodoo spirits. Found an easier way down. It helps that there's somebody else here who told me where to go. I kept going the hard way apparently. So, okay, there's something really creepy here. That's where I was over there. I was also kind of up there. Dude, look what someone put here. It's really creepy. What do you think? Should I go in? The lady I passed already said there was something creepy down there. Curiosity's getting the better of me, but at the same time, I'm a little scared. I am not.
Curiosity pulled her forward despite the warning. Fear followed closely behind. Inside, she noticed something disturbing placed there intentionally. Her instincts told her not to stay. She left the cave quickly, shaken but relieved. Some places feel wrong for a reason.
Afraid to admit that. Oh, Tice, slow down. The rocks are a little bit shaky here. Tyson, wait up. Okay, I did it. You might go in further. There's a second room over here. That is kind of neat. That's about as far as I was willing to go because that tickled on so many of my fears. So we got out of there. It counts though. It counts as my adventure path because I went and explored a little bit. Whew. Wow. You realize we're gonna have to climb up this rock thing again, right? I think you're going the wrong way, buddy. We gotta go that way. Okay, that was fun. Now on to figure out where.
Later, finding a campsite was difficult due to flooding. When her dog barked at nothing, the tension returned.
Looks like all of these spots are flooded. I don't know that I feel safe camping here. Maybe if I go up this way. Hold on. Okay, so I'm currently at a BLM spot just a little north of Williams, Arizona. A friend of mine actually dropped this pin for me. It's also available on iOverlander, so it's not that hard to find. But the thing is, it's pretty flooded. A lot of these sites that I drove.
By morning, she moved on. The experience stayed with her. Sophie sets out on a solo camping trip in familiar woods near her childhood home. Rain, wind, and fading daylight immediately make the trip harder than expected.
where I'm gonna put up my tent and spend the night. I have never been at this campsite before, but I did spend a lot of time in this area. It's very close to where I grew up, so I've been here many times. I always enjoy being in this forest area.
At the campsite, she encounters a deer lying directly in her planned spot. The animal does not move, which makes her worried it may be sick or injured.
It's almost completely dark and the guy has not come yet. So now I'm just waiting and checking up on the deer. It's just laying completely still with its head in the ground, looking like it's sleeping. Let's see what he says if he comes. I'm just gonna go over and check on it again. See if it's still there. I can see its eyes lighting up in the dark.
Unsure what to do, she contacts animal protection for advice. They suggest the deer may simply be exhausted from the mating season.
From my flashlight. So I just called the animal protection and they canceled the guy who was on his way out here because apparently they think, based on the video I sent, that it's just very tired from the mating season. So it's just laying there waiting for a new partner, he said.
As darkness falls, the deer remains close and unafraid. It approaches her tent and even stands near her backpack.
So now I'm a little bit worried that maybe it's a female deer looking to meet up with the deer next to my tent, where my backpack also is. And yeah, so now I crawled into this shelter because I'm a little bit afraid of the deer. I've always heard that in mating season you should not go near it. So now I don't know what to do. It's getting later and later in the evening. I haven't made a fire yet.
The behavior makes Sophie increasingly uneasy and unable to relax. She struggles to start a fire with wet wood and growing fear.
It was just staring at me. So I have a lighter.
Eventually, she cooks inside her tent, using a stove instead. The night continues with strong wind collapsing part of the tent.
Working better than what I thought. So far, so good. I'm able to cook up the bread. So I think I'm just gonna chop up the sausages and then they can also fit into the pan. I also forgot to bring a plate. Apparently a lot of things go wrong on this camping trip.
By morning, she decides to pack up and leave safely. The trip ends shaken, but with relief that nothing worse happened.
Now I just need to walk back to where I parked the car.
That deer is definitely not normal. Stay safe. Peace. The couple describes their scariest night while living in a camper van. This happened during extreme heat while traveling through Nevada.
Our scariest encounter living in our camper van. This guy right there is just like randomly came up to us and asked.
They chose a quiet casino parking lot to stay overnight. The area seemed safe, well lit, and had visible security patrols.
And if you've camped overnight at truck stops, that's the case. Or there was a casino with an abandoned amusement park. So we checked out both, but we thought it'd be pretty cool to check out and explore the abandoned amusement park that was attached to this casino. Not to mention, the parking lot seemed really quiet, well lit, and there was security patrol. So we thought we were going to have a good night.
Shortly after we arrived to the park.
Soon after parking, a black Ford Explorer slowly circled their van. Another man later approached Tanya and asked if they were veterans. The question felt strange, and the man quickly drove away. Security was informed, but the uneasy feeling did not go away.
Driving by the back of our camper van. And Tanya has great spidey senses, much more than me. I tend to just miss all that. I mean, her spidey senses immediately kicked off. I wasn't too worried at the time. We've seen many folks drive by our Echo and really check out Desert Snow because it does look different from many other RVs. So I thought, okay, they're probably just checking out the Echo. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, you know what? Dave's right. Despite my spidey senses, which I tend to have often, I did notice this black Ford Explorer slowly rolling by Desert Snow. And like Dave said, people do check it out. But there was something weird I felt inside. It was tinted windows. It was rolled down just enough so you couldn't see the person inside. It was really just rolling by slowly. So we really didn't think anything of it more than that. And we went into the casino, which was still open, met the teams from the management team, which talked about some of the rich history, which we love doing, exploring history of places. And we really were enjoying ourselves.
We stayed inside the casino for a while and couldn't see our van or our bikes, which are attached to the back of our van during that time, obviously. And I do have to admit that I did have a bit of nervousness just kind of thinking about our bikes and also the Ford.
Later, the same vehicles returned and parked nearby with engines running. Both vehicles stayed idling and no one got out.
Feels a little weird as well, just kind of sitting there. Oh gosh. That is the same one that was there earlier. The Ford that was there earlier that also kind of circled by. Black Ford Explorer. Oh my goodness.
And after trying to talk to the security guard, he left to do his rounds around the parking lot. And then, maybe it was about 15 minutes later or so, the security guard pulled back up near us. And I went out and talked to him. And he actually said he saw that white car with the tinted windows parked in another part of the parking lot, an area that we actually couldn't see, and there was no one in the car.
Yeah.
Right.
The timing worried them because the security guard had gone on break. They feared the vehicles were watching them or planning something.
And right behind it was a white tinted out Sprinter van. And they both drove really slowly back behind our RV, behind Desert Snow. Either they were looking at the bikes, I don't know what it was, but they drove by really slow. So I'm cooking, and I'm just kind of side-eyeing, looking outside as to see where they're going. And they both parked next to each other. And what made it even worse is they didn't get out of the car. The cars were both idling, and the Black Explorer and the white tinted out Sprinter van, they didn't get out of their vehicles. So I'm really freaking out at this point.
Yeah, we were very nervous, felt really exposed to, because we knew the security.
Without drawing attention, they quietly prepared to leave. They drove away quickly and were not followed.
We drove off. There wasn't an issue. But I'm like peeking back, I'm looking back, and I'm just afraid that they're going to follow us.
Yes.
And it was like very fortunate that they did not follow us. But then as we're, you leave the parking lot, and as you're heading on the highway, you still have good visibility of the casino parking lot. So you could see the white van and you can see the Ford Explorer next to each other. And at that point, I saw the white van folks get out. They went around to the other side. That was
right when we left.
Right when we left. Other than they were sitting in there. They were idling. And then right when we left, they get out. So there was a lot of little things that drew some suspicions, but we felt very relieved they weren't following us. So we went.
They later stayed at a busy truck stop and felt much safer. The experience reinforced the importance of trusting instincts and leaving early.
We were going to go to the next exit and there's a truck stop right after that. We were not going to do it because we were afraid they'd follow us to the next exit. So we just kept on going. We went a good 45 minutes, decided to go to a truck stop that we knew very well. We'd actually stayed there before. We felt safe. It was super active. It was very loud.
Very loud.
Very loud truck stop.
I'll take that in.
But tons of truckers.
Never, ever engage in a conversation with someone that approaches you by your van, and especially at night. You do not have to talk to everyone. Natasha from Quest Out West explains that this is part one of several scary encounters. She stresses this is not hatred toward men, but about repeated patterns.
Part one of probably a two-part series where I tell you guys all about my creepy, scary stories of altercations I've had on the road. You're gonna notice a theme, and so I really want to make it clear that I do not hate men. I do not blame all men. Men do have their own experiences and altercations.
She describes multiple incidents over 48 hours in Burnaby. Most involved older men ignore boundaries and personal space
that have happened to me since I got in the van. I'm going to start with what happened in Burnaby before I left for White Rock, because that was a pretty intense day. I have a lot of footage from different incidents that have happened over the past year.
One man repeatedly tried to hug women outside a coffee shop. Later, he waited for her and honked aggressively in a parking lot. The next day, the same man approached her while she was working. He stood close and tried forcing conversation despite her silence.
He would walk around the Tim Hortons with his arms out and try to hug people or fake like he was going to hug people. It was really weird. And on another day, I saw him outside in the parking lot, and you would see people coming from their cars, especially young women. Young women trying to go to the Tim Hortons, and he would just do this thing and get in front of them and try to like kind of thing where he would like pretend he was going to hug them.
Another older man loudly joked to get her attention. When ignored, he became angry and stormed out. Later, two men approached her van and referenced her cats. This implied they had been watching her beforehand. One man leaned into her window, crossing a serious boundary. She told him to leave, feeling unsafe but exhausted.
And then one of them turns around, and the way I'm parked, this way, cats are in the back, so he couldn't see in the van from the front. He couldn't see the cats from where he was standing. He turns around and says, "How are the cats?" He didn't say, "Oh, look, you got cats." He said, "How are the cats?" You know what that means? It means he's been watching me. That's what that means. So I didn't answer him because, again, I'm done giving my energy away to people I don't want to give it to.
That night, another man aggressively confronted her in the parking lot. He insulted her, photographed her van, and acted threatening.
And so I put it off, and maybe a couple hours later, this happened. Okay, I have a license plate. Do what you gotta do, sir. I will file for harassment because that's exactly what you're doing right now. Oh, okay. This guy, I'm parked. This guy's turning into the parking lot in the lane in front of me. And so there's traffic behind him. He turns out of the main lane, turns into the parking lot, and there's a car behind him also trying to turn. Well, he stops and he decides he wants to go backwards because he didn't go down the right lane.
She ends describing grown men reacting with toddler-level rage. The experience reinforced how unsafe and exhausting this behavior felt.
And then so he turns and he goes, "Oh yeah," and he gives me the finger. Grown men, friends. Grown adult men, okay? With the emotional maturity of a toddler.
Very creepy people. You never know what some people are capable of. Be safe out there. The explorer enters an abandoned building with years of experience. Almost immediately, the camera begins glitching and shutting off. Strange lines appear on the footage and follow the camera. No matter where she moves, the visual distortion stays present. After exploring the upper floor, she heads downstairs. Suddenly, music starts playing where silence existed minutes earlier. The sound doesn't resemble a speaker or recording. It feels like a live orchestra playing somewhere below. As she continues, clear voices and fast footsteps echo nearby. They sound close, as if someone is rushing through the building. She pauses on a stair landing after hearing two loud bangs. Moments later, an automated, distorted voice fills the lower floor. The voice sounds unnatural, almost like reversed speech. At that moment, an intense gut feeling tells her to leave. Later, research reveals the building's dark history. It's known as one of the most haunted places in the state. Was it coincidence or something truly paranormal? There was definitely someone else in that building, man. That's crazy.